Hi, this is Nathan. Welcome to the Wad Fam Chalk Pod.
Hello and welcome to the Wad Fam Chalk Pod. I'm Dylan Weaver.
And I'm Andrew Sabo.
And we are here today to talk about episode 444A, Career Moves.
Oh boy, are we.
Yeah.
It is September as of recording this, mid-September. But we are still in split episode summer, baby.
The hottest, longest summer ever.
Eternal, if you will.
Oh, yeah.
Have we made that joke before?
I don't think so.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Plug in the Strokes right off the top.
No, we started off covering the Eternal Birthday. Now we're just talking about Eternal Summer. I was also going to throw out the incredible surf doc Endless Summer.
Have not.
I believe
seen
it's
it.
technically The Endless Summer, but
Endless.
it's very good. It's from like I want to say like the 60s, and it follows some guys who travel around the world with summer.
Okay.
As a season, like
Yeah,
they loop
yeah,
down
yeah.
into the lower hemisphere and come back up in order to like surf for an entire year.
That's epic. Wow, I do really need to watch that. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's a good one. I recommend it.
I'm interested to see, like, I can so clearly imagine what that would look like as a modern movie, but being made in the 60s is definitely gonna make it spicy.
Sure, it's a classic. Unlike this episode, Career Moves, which is not a classic because it only aired once. That's right, we're once again talking about an unreleased episode. I think this is our last one for the summer, but yeah, it aired once, April 29th of 2000, alongside the episode The Bad Guy. But essentially the issue with this episode, I don't know. Like officially, it's just that it wasn't very good.
Yeah, no, the notes on the wiki say the episode was originally paired with The Bad Guy, but was dropped from distribution in all subsequent airings because the team felt it was too weak of an episode.
Right.
Which, honestly, I don't know how this is a weak episode.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense. So the official guide lists it not as like dropped because it was too weak, but just because like they didn't have a spot for it on the album for reasons that we will get into when we cover some following episodes.
Okay.
And kind of what happened there. But yeah, it winds up being a bizarre moment. It's written by Marshall Younger, who's a super
classic.
Odyssey alum, so it like makes sense once again in this kind of like legacy of like it's not that bad an episode.
Yeah.
Like it truly.
No, it feels like Odyssey in a way that some of the other split episodes really haven't.
Right. Which I think is a testament to Marshall Younger and what
yeah.
he can bring to it. It does have a 75% on the wiki with 36 votes. So.
Well, and another thing noted on the wiki is that this episode only has 3 named characters in it.
They
It's just
are
Bart,
Nathaniel, and Whit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Perfectly said.
I named them all.
You did. Which is the first time since the 8th episode of Family Portraits, The Letter.
Sure.
For those that care. Not me.
This is why we don't tend to read the Adventures in Odyssey wiki trivia section.
No, not at all.
Because as much as we love the Adventures in Odyssey wiki and it's essential to what we do, the trivia section is kind of nothing.
No, yeah, for sure. But no, I do think that this one is interesting because it has so few characters. I mean, when you
Sure. No, it is notable in that regard. I'll give you that. And it's one of those where, so we have Hurlinger, Bart, and Whit all being voiced by their classic people who voiced them. And then all of the other people who are the non-named people in the episode are all just like staff writers and stuff. Like it's Rob Jorgensen, Al Jansen, Kathy Buchanan, Phil Lawler are the other customers.
Yeah, no, this is truly an interesting lightning in a bottle, really, kind of episode. Just because I really do appreciate, and we'll get into it, slightly greater detail. It's only 10 minutes, but
sure.
Like just seeing more of the Electric Palace and getting getting to spend time inside of a different building in Odyssey is nice.
Right. It's it's a fun episode.
Yeah.
It starts out with Nathaniel at like a job fair where he's gonna get paired with someone to intern, and he winds up interning with Bart. He gets excited because Whit's there to represent the small businesses, and then he's like, oh, I get to be with Whit, and Whit's like, not necessarily, and then it's like, oh no, he's with Bart.
Yep.
Who famously like loves children, and this makes sense.
Perfect. Of course he's gonna volunteer. Well, I mean, actually, his motives become very apparent in the next scene.
Sure, free labor. But the thing I will point out that I think is interesting is the whole, like, kids, like, interning around town is something that's explored in Kidsborough. That first episode that kind of sets up, which is a written by Marshall Younger episode.
Huh. That is cool.
So even though
he took it personally.
Even though this episode was pulled from the air, like... And he might have revisited that regardless of whether it was pulled from the air. But I just think it's like an interesting connection that he later kind of goes back to this same topic.
Yeah.
Obviously, he doesn't do it with anyone who is like... He doesn't put anyone with a Bart. But it's a similar premise of the kids are learning that like the jobs that they want are not all they're cracked up to be, or like the ways that they get to do those jobs are not what they're looking for.
Yeah, exactly. Giving them practical shadowing experience, or if you're Nathaniel, manual labor.
Yeah. Did you ever do any job shadowing, anything like that?
No. But I did switch majors in college, so there's that. No, I knew that I wanted to go into the medical field for a while, and then initially it went from like, vague pre-med, I don't really need to shadow much in high school. And then it went into nursing where it was like, I already kind of know what nurses do to a certain extent because of, family exposure and stuff like that. But it was then only after I worked in the hospital that I was like, I don't want to do this. And then I was also in nursing school at the time and just kind of learning about it. But
yeah. And you've never done an internship, is that correct?
No. Still have not done an internship because my new job that I work at now counts for my internship for school.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
Bullet dodged.
Yeah, I did some like quote unquote shadowing as part of like a class in college. That
were you like shadowing like tech people at LAFC or something or what?
No, it wasn't. It was at the college.
Okay.
I went in to do some tech shadowing and I wound up getting offered a job from it. So that was pretty great.
Yeah.
And I took that job, and that job got me the job I have now.
Heck yeah.
So, yeah, job shadowing. Worthwhile, but also like I don't know. I find it interesting. Of like it feels very like Odyssey / fictional town to be like a middle school kid doing any sort of job shadowing.
Yeah,
like that very much feels like a plot point in a TV show and not like a thing that actually occurs.
Yeah, because who sends like? I mean, it's like the whole take your kids to work thing, where it's like. You see that all the time, but like, when was the last time you actually saw somebody take their kids to work?
Right. Yeah, it just doesn't seem like a real thing, or maybe it was at one point, but has died off and just lives on in like the collective consciousness. I don't know. If you are, someone who who did job shadowing when you were in middle school, write to us.
Yes, I would like to know. And was it traumatizing? I can imagine it was. I worked in middle school and it traumatized me.
Yeah, but you got paid.
True, I did. It wasn't free labor. I think I paid twice.
But this is free labor for Bart. That's the whole reason he's doing this.
Yep, he's moving TVs and mopping floors, Nathaniel, and Nathaniel then asks, like, well, I was kind of hoping to learn more about the business side of things, and Bart's like, well, you got to do your time, which, I mean, amen, because, as somebody that always sicks the new person on the dishes when you're working in a food service restaurant. It's like you can't mess up dishes, so
sure,
go do that.
Sure, I mean there is for sure something to that. Like that's not even just like a Bart thing.
Yeah.
But then he does tell Nathaniel that after he does this next thing, he can go do some accounting, the boxes in the back.
Storeroom.
Oh man, Bart Rathbun.
Bart Rathbun.
And so yeah, then Nathaniel has his first chance to interact with a customer and sends business elsewhere.
Sends them to another store.
Yep.
And
which, for all of Bart's stuff that he doesn't do great in this episode, that is a key point where Nathaniel is like, no, don't do that, Nathaniel.
Yeah.
Like, you can say, like, we don't carry that, or, like, this is the closest thing we have to that.
But don't tell
like,
somebody
right.
where else to go get it.
Yeah.
Actually, no,
Yep.
I would do it at Target all the time, though. People would shop for phone cases at Target, and I'd be like, just buy it on Amazon. I swear to God, it's the same thing, just less expensive. Like,
Sure. I mean,
I'm okay directing business away from large corporations.
To Amazon. I think Target might be better for the world than Amazon.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Like, I don't know. I'm sure they both have problems, but...
Yeah, no, they have a lot of problems, but...
Right.
But no, I do agree. I think that Amazon's probably worse. Actually, I think they're definitely worse.
Yeah, I mean, like, they're... Not to say there isn't good stuff that comes from Amazon, but, like, yeah.
I don't know if Target's really good at union busting, but they haven't had any union issues, and they treat their employees pretty well, so
yeah,
there's that.
Yeah, that seems to be, generally a win. So what I'm saying is you're a bad person, Andrew.
Yeah, no, I should feel bad about
I believe
customers elsewhere.
I believe you are the bad guy. But
that's what we came to this podcast to learn today, is that Andrew is in fact the villain.
But then, yeah, Bart decides to, or Bart steps in to be like, no, I have something better than the vision scan monitors you're looking for,
and it's cheaper too.
Right? These are monitors that are the generic version of that same thing at a third of the price, and so he sells
looking
the
good
person.
Incorporated.
Yep. Looking good. And so he sells the guy on that, and then when he's talking to Nathaniel's like, wow, I didn't realize that they were like the same thing. And Bart's like, well, they're more or less the same.
Yeah.
Which, once again, Bart, not necessarily, like, he is...
Not entirely right, but not entirely wrong.
Sure, right. Where I'm like, yes, if he was slightly less of a used car salesman, this would be fine.
Yeah. A more distinguished kind of scumbag lawyer, if you will. A Bart Goodman, if you will.
But yeah, he then we have an exchange where some customer comes back to return something, and he explains that all sales are final. And Nathaniel's like, but I've heard the customer is always right. And Bart says the iconic, if the customer's always right, then why would he buy a bad product and need a refund?
Exactly. Perfect logic. Infallible as usual.
Yeah. Which I also, as someone who has worked in the service industry, customers always right is the worst.
Yeah. No, it is the worst.
Any business that has that philosophy, I'm like, I understand what you're doing. It gives so much license to people to just be horrible.
Yeah. No. It's really, really annoying.
And I feel like the bigger the entity, the more that license exists.
Yes.
When it's your family, like, neighborhood fruit stand can get away with a customer's always right policy a little bit more than a Target.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Where it's like, we have a major corporation here and there's so many moving parts that, like...
Yeah, and you're just faceless. You're never going to see that guy again.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you can be a jerk to him.
Or if I do, it's going to be bad. Like...
Sure, but, like, you can be a jerk to them and then avoid them with no problems going forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Whereas, like, you can't do that at, like...
No, I couldn't do that at the Dosido at all.
Right. If I was mean to them, I wouldn't be allowed back in.
Yeah. That's why I'm very nice.
Yeah.
Mostly because I like them, but, you know, there's also benefits to liking them. People treat, like, corporate shade workers terribly.
I know. And it bums me out because those are the people who are, like, doing the work.
Yeah, exactly. They're the ones that are making the corporations possible, but they always get the rough end of the stick.
Yep. It's real.
Customer
real
service in Target was like a nightmare. Like, that is like the mecca for first world problem complaints and people just projecting their garbage days onto you.
Yeah. I mean, less so in my job now, but, like, even in tech jobs I have worked, you deal with that.
Yeah.
Because once again, you're like, you especially if you're over the phone, you can just be the faceless person who's, like, standing in the way of that person getting what they want. Which is, never fun. But
No.
and also never fine. You know, thumbs down to those people. Like, just, I don't know.
Be nice to service workers.
Like, go out of your... The two things I feel very strongly are be nice to service workers and go out of your way to be nice to people in cars on the road.
Oh, yeah.
Like, be nice to other drivers. Be nice to the person who hands you your coffee.
Let people in. Don't be that guy that speeds past somebody that's trying to pull out. Like, just let him go. Just seriously, just let him go.
Yeah. Yep. I feel like, I don't know. Those are two things that I'm like, regardless of what you believe in everything else in your life, if we disagree on that, we're gonna, like, fight a little bit.
Yeah. No, honestly,
like, those are such core values where I'm like, if you're like not on board with this stuff, I'm just like, I struggle to see you be a decent person. Granted, we all have days where we are worse at that than others.
Yeah. Well, in exceptional circumstances, if I'm running late, I'm going to be less likely to slow down.
Right. Yeah. Yep. But just in general,
no, as a policy, like,
if you're intentionally mean to people, intentionally, mean as a driver, just, like, get out of here. Stop listening to the podcast. Like,
I have to do a lot of driving for my job now, like, between appointments across the county and everything, and I go through a lot of road work and a lot of, like, sit in a lot of traffic and deal with school buses and all that nonsense. And, you could get bent out of shape about it, and I have historically, but you get exposed to it so much that you just, like, okay, you just accept it and try not to be a bad person about it.
Yeah. Yep.
And just lean into it and turn on this podcast.
Yeah.
No, I do not listen to myself in the car. Please don't get that image of me.
That's horrifying. Yeah. Well, so it's just like this, like, kind of montage of Bart being bad to customers, and so he's got that bit, and then there's someone who's trying to buy a camera, and he goes off to talk to his manager to see if he can get the price cut down. And Nathaniel's like, Bart, you are the manager. He's like, yeah, but they like to see, like, feel like people are working with them. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to knock $40 off. Once again, I don't think this is an inherently bankrupt tactic.
No.
But Bart, of course, has to throw in the little bit that makes him evil, which is
he can get it $80 cheaper,
right? That he knows the exact market price for this at another store and is intentionally overselling it by $80. Now he's just going to oversell it by $40. I also here's a problem with this. No one seems to like Odyssey is a small town in which everyone knows everyone, and yet no one knows Bart.
Yeah, no, it is the
I'm like, how do you not know this guy owns the Electric Palace?
Yeah,
like all of the Blackguard stuff, all of the I guess Novacom stuff is to come.
Yeah,
but also like this is a man who, in the previous episode we covered, went on radio and talked about how crappy your town is, and a mob showed out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like the mob that shows up to get him in 60s something. Like he's got so much notoriety around town, where it is just that Odyssey problem where it's like it's a small town where everyone knows everyone, and also like some things are just anonymous.
The interesting thing is that the Electric Palace is still open despite apparently very successful competition.
Right. Successful competition, and also, as is established later, never having return customers.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, every person in Odyssey only goes to the Electric Palace once before they learn their lesson.
Yeah. And they're just trying to get everybody.
Yeah.
That's why he got Nathaniel. He was hoping he could get his school friends. The children might forget.
This episode just can't quite bring itself to be a full indictment of capitalism.
It would be great, though.
It's great unless you're this guy.
Yep. Always make the sale.
Right. And so, then Nathaniel has his first chance to make a sale. There's this guy standing in front of the batteries, and Bart sends him over to sell him the batteries.
Yeah. The guy wasn't actually looking at batteries. He was looking at something else. And Nathaniel anxiously spews off his never-ending love for these discount batteries. And
then explains that he's going to lose his job. And the guy's like, dude, I'll buy the batteries if it keeps you from crying.
Yeah. And so he walks away. I honestly thought that was the end of it. I did not think we were going to see Battery Man again.
Oh, really?
But we do.
Oh, no. No, because the next scene requires that Battery Man return.
Yeah.
Which is that Whit shows up and is like, oh, man, you seem to be doing pretty well. And Nathaniel's like, yeah, I'm running this entirely while, Bart's out of town. Or like,
no, he's running an errand.
Right. Sorry, I misspoke.
What?
I know. Crazy, right?
I have unreal power in this moment.
But yeah,
it's podcaster.
It's just this real funny moment of Whit just being like,
what has he taught you?
Right. Bart's probably wrong. But then he does the Whit thing of taking it like a little too far, or just like the line of, just make sure those rules Bart taught you don't conflict with the rules of God.
Yep. How much business sense is in the Bible? How many economic and business plans are set forth in the holy text?
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm like, I get the point he's making is like, be honest.
Yeah.
And not deceptive. And I agree
and the Bible would suggest err on the side of generosity as opposed to, tight-fistedness or whatever.
I would love an episode diving into the economics of Whit's End. I just need to know.
I'm okay. I was thinking about it. It's gotta be a Newman Zone situation.
Where like he takes the money, but it all goes to fund the encyclopedia company.
It's not like it pays all the employees, no profit, and everything else.
Like kind of a
charity or church or whatever.
Right, like an Awesome Socks setup.
Yes, exactly.
Plug for the Awesome Socks Club and the Awesome Coffee Club.
Amen,
if you're looking for socks and coffee,
they've got awesome stuff.
Yeah, I'm a proud Awesome Socks subscriber.
I'm so jealous.
I'm wearing some awesome socks.
I can't wait to be an adult so I can subscribe to a socks club.
Yeah, you get a pair of socks every month, and it supports the local, a cool artist, and all the profits go to charity.
Good charity too.
Yeah. Yep. Good stuff. Anyways, so you're saying that's the Wits End business model, is he does charge money.
Yeah, no, he clearly does. But I think I think that's the only way that it would make any moderate amount of sense.
Right.
Because he's got to pay.
Or he's just got it worked out so that it truly breaks even.
Yeah.
But also, Wit's got so much money that he could just pay all of his employees out of his back pocket.
Exactly.
So right.
Is Wit a billionaire?
Dude, this is the thing, is we don't know. Like, I want to know. I want the episode that gets into
Wit's
like,
net worth.
Right, how, like, yeah, just Wit's relationship to money and, like, how that all functions. Because, like,
he clearly has a lot of it.
Right. And, like, he doesn't live in an extravagant way.
No.
But I'm like, so does he give a lot of it away, or is it all just like, invested in stuff so that his children and grandchildren have a ton of money?
I have no clue. I mean, I'm gonna hope that he gives it away.
You know what? I bet he donates it all to Focus on the Family, Colorado Springs, Colorado. A famous nonprofit charity that people can feel not at all weird about giving money to.
And get a tax write-off. Can't forget about that.
Can't forget about the tax write-off.
That would actually be a great future thing, like for Wits End to become like a church with a business in it, so it's technically tax exempt.
You mean a business that has a church?
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a news story that broke within the past week or something of one of those, where it was like, I forget what, I think it was some like political organization or whatnot that like was able to register nonprofit because they were like claimed to be holding a church service. And then when a reporter called it, the person who picked up the phones when they asked when the service was says, "We don't have a church service." Which is like, you're not even trying. Does no one in the government make that call? Someone should. Like, of all the tax fraud, that seems so easy to solve.
You would think, but we are remarkably inept at such things.
Yeah.
Anyway, after Wit gets off of his high horse,
right. He walks out and immediately
Battery Man comes in.
Battery Man.
And
he reveals the batteries leaked, and he put them into his doll, the diaper, or he put them into his child's doll, and they immediately leaked. They didn't hold a charge, and then they started leaking into the diaper, and if he hadn't been there, his child could have burned themselves with acid.
Battery acid, which, I mean, depends on how old this child is. If they're older than 4, I would trust them to not try and eat that stuff.
Sure, but like, this is right. This makes
sense.
It's just the like, let's come up with like the most
dramatic.
Like, right.
My kid could die.
Right. Exactly.
It could have just been, these batteries don't work, because most of the time that's how batteries work.
Right. And
if they leak acid, it is just crusted on the outside of it.
Sure.
And it doesn't spill everywhere like a freaking science fair.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where I'm just like, I understand what the show is doing. I also would like to counter and say, maybe if they just like, maybe if the batteries just didn't hold a charge, it would teach a better lesson to Nathaniel.
Exactly.
Than if like, because this really puts him in a situation of like, oh, I can't.
Yeah.
Like, just tell this guy to get lost.
Yeah.
Or, like, I'm dead. Like, as opposed to, like, being like, I just learned my lesson, and this is, like, I shouldn't be just letting some,
leading
non-functional batteries. Yeah. But the guy comes up with this weird dichotomy where he's like, so either these batteries were faulty, or you lied to me. And I was like, no, both?
Yeah.
Whether or not he lied to you doesn't matter. The batteries were for sure faulty. No batteries are going to leak battery acid by design.
True. That was not in question.
Unless these are some of those like golf ball that turns to dust, pack of gum that like zaps you.
Oh.
Like
I haven't heard the golf ball that turns to dust.
Yeah, it's like you can buy like it looks like a golf ball, and when you swing your club at it, it just poofs.
Nice.
Yeah.
That is pretty epic, actually. I think I might try that.
There you go. I don't think I want it. What I want to do is mini golf with that, but I don't think you would get. I don't think you put enough power on it.
No,
to
you
make
really
that work.
have to take that baby out somewhere that you can swing.
But I
hard
do
at
like
it.
the idea of not realize, like of just using it and not quite realizing it, and then someone like knocks it into the water and it just dissolves.
That would be great. Or it like skips up out of the mini golf thing and just explodes on the sidewalk.
Sure. Oh man. But yeah, it's so Nathaniel does the right thing and offers this guy a refund
And Bart comes back and
for $2.50.
Yep. He has a great business day and he's looking at the receipts at the end and sees RFND.
Yep.
And Nathaniel dejectedly says, "That's a refund."
Yes.
And then he gets yelled at by Bart for giving out a refund because, what if they get ideas?
Yeah, and Bart gives him a very Trumpian "you're fired."
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like he does it so
You're
in the
Yeah.
It's very funny. And he's like, "Well, you can't fire me. I don't actually work for you, Bart. Mm-hmm. This was just like
I'm a
weird
volunteer.
This was a weird school project." And then we cut to him sitting at the counter at wit's end, drowning his sorrows in an ice cold milkshake that he paid money for, probably. And he's talking with Whit about it, and Whit's like, "Well, you did the right thing." He's like, "Yeah, but Bart's gonna like write a horrible,
Yeah.
paper."
Well, no, Bart made sure he got a bad grade.
Right. And he's like, tell that to my parents when they find out, the grade Bart gave me. And Whit's like, "I can talk to the teacher for you." And I'm like, freaking Whit. Like, what is
course
this?
you can.
I'll just talk to your teacher and get you a better grade. And then leans into the plus, if he knows Bart.
Yeah, if he knows Bart, of course he'll believe you. And
Right.
and then
which,
also
once again,
the
everyone
wrong-
in town knows that Bart is a bad businessman, and yet he gets business. Mm-hmm. Despite there being competition.
Like, yet he gets children. Like they allowed him.
True. Also that.
This is really from another time.
His son has been a bully for 10 years.
Yeah. He's got a goatee. He smoked cigarettes in 8th grade.
Oh, man. And, then Bart shows up to express excitement because he's having a great business day again, and people are coming back, including the guy who bought the batteries yesterday, which I was like, man, this guy's going to an electronics store 3 days in a row. Like, come on, man.
You've got to have something else to do.
Yeah. But he's just like, man, you had some great ideas there, Nathaniel. And Nathaniel's like, well, you could try, whatever, satisfaction guaranteed or,
money back guarantee.
money back guarantee.
And he's like, what?
No, never mind.
No,
Bart's
small steps.
Right. Bart's never going to change, but he does learn the value of a return customer. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
It's an episode.
It is. I mean, it's solid.
No, it's funny.
Like, it works. It's not like, I don't know. It's fine.
For a 10-minute, kind of dink-dunk bookend story type. I'm playing with my cord.
You're just not leaning into the mic.
But
also, you said dink dunk.
Yeah. For a 10-minute dink-dunk kind of episode where, it doesn't have a lot of time to branch out, and really, with only 3 characters, it plays a lot more like a play or something like that than it does like a TV show or something more like that.
I think you should next time you have the chance to do a talent show or a skit of some sort, do this.
Just do this episode with 2 other people?
Yeah.
Huh.
And well, I mean, you need more people to play the customers.
True.
But
honestly, there's a chance.
like it's single location. It's doable.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I mean, it's essentially single location. I mean, there's technically he's at the counter at Wit's End at the end, but like you can get around that.
Yeah. Maybe for our 200th episode. Maybe for our 200th episode, we'll do it.
That is far too soon for us to do this, Andrew. Not happening.
Not happening. No, yeah.
We still haven't even made a Wad Fam track side. So.
It's true. We got to start on the ground floor.
I do sometimes wish I had there have been a handful of filmed things that I've really enjoyed and went, that would be an incredible play if I could pull that off. I can't. There's no way I ever could, but I like to entertain the idea.
Of being a playwright?
Of doing screen to stage adaptations of on very small scale. Basically, I've watched the movie Black Box and it really got me going. And I like that movie a lot, and so I think about it, and
What about Zootopia?
What?
I don't know. I'm just thinking of other movies.
Oh, no. Black Box is a movie about putting on a stage production.
Okay.
The movies that I want to convert into stage productions, I don't remember which one it is, but I remember there's an episode of Black Mirror that I watched and went, that would make a great stage adaptation. The Joe Swanberg's Marriage Material is a fantastic, is just essentially a bunch of monologues and would be.
I feel like Wise Kids would be
really good on stage. Yeah, Wise Kids has a great movie directed by Stephen Cohn, who directed Black Box.
Oh,
yeah,
there you go.
The Black Box, but regardless, or is it just Black Box? I don't remember. Now I'm confused. But regardless, Wise Kids has the thing of it spans an entire year. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a big ensemble. I feel like that movie doesn't work in this context. I mean, it works in that it's mostly just people talking, but I'm talking stuff that is small scale, essentially single location, very few number of actors, stuff that you could put on a very small production and have a good time. So I don't know. That's something I think about a lot.
Yeah, I can't say that that's something I've thought about a lot, but I do have a background in. I've been in more plays than you have. I'll say that much.
Correct, because I have been in none.
Yeah.
I don't know if this podcast wasn't obvious to you. I don't act well. This is not an idea that I have any real means of carrying out, but it is a thing I think about occasionally when I'm watching things, and I'm just man, this underappreciated little piece of art could have second legs
as a play
a play, and even if you only did it for once, whatever. But that's all to say. This episode should be a play, and I want Andrew to write, direct, star in it.
Write, direct, star sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
I'll do the soundtrack too. See if I can get an eke out for it.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have anything else to promote? I believe we.
No, I just rattled off a dozen
bunch
movies,
of things.
So I think that should be where I end.
Strokes. We are good.
Okay.
You have. I don't know. You have a great day, listener. You enjoy yourself. You make sure you stay hydrated out there, and look left, look right, and then look left again before crossing the street. So,
all right. And with all that being said, we'll be back next week for episode 444B, The Bad Guy.
Bye, guys.
I'm a bad guy.
Wadfam Chalk Pod is a presentation of the Lidditz Podcast Co-op. This show is a fan podcast and has no official affiliation with Adventures in Odyssey or Focus on the Family. As such, the copyright is ours under Creative Commons. Follow the podcast at wadfamchalkpod on Twitter and Instagram, or email us at wadfamchalkpod@gmail.com. Career Moves was hosted by Dylan Weaver and Andrew Acebo and edited by Dylan Weaver. And I'm Nathan Haverstick. hoping you'll join us again next time for more of the Wad Fam Chalk Pod.